What is up, guys? It is your boy Skywalker OG coming at you with another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today we are going to be talking about my boy Richard the First. I love this commander. He is awesome. Let me start off by the negatives though. One, I do not recommend going infantry commanders if you are not a spender in this game. Being an infantry commander, you need to have the tech to back up your commanders. You need the tech to be a tank. Imagine it, well, just picture it like a World of Warcraft type game, a MMORPG. Well, I mean it is, but picture it as a game where you progress, and you're trying to be a tank. Obviously, you can't go into these huge battles with cloth armor at a low level. That's essentially what you're trying to do with infantry commanders and no tech. Without that gear to buff your guy up to defend you, you're not tanking anything. So you definitely need to keep that in mind. You want your tech to be there on your infantry to use these guys. That's my personal opinion. I mean, it's an opinion made by others too, but it's a basic knowledge of tanking. You need the defense, the tankiness to tank. Alright. So anyways, second, he's very slow commander. You need to pay attention to where he's at on the march. On the field when you're marching him. You definitely need to pay attention to him. He's very slow, very, very, very slow. Third, your hospital bills will be insane. This man heals a lot, so your hospital bills will be crazy. You might beat the heck out of people, which I will be showing reports in this video to show what I've done with Richard and my boy Charles, because that's the only man I pair him with. Because that's the best pairing I have. But anyways, so yeah, the hospital bill will be nuts. That's the three drawbacks for Richard. That's the three biggest I think there is for Richard. Other than that, this man is awesome. This man is dope. So we have for you on the first skill, his heals some of the slightly wounded units, healing factor of 1400. And Richard's army adds a debuff to a maximum of 5 targets in a fan-shaped area. Debuff effect reduces damage dealt by 30% and march speed by 15% for 2 seconds. Woo, that is some nice stuff right there. I like whenever I debuff the enemy's damage, especially by 30%, especially whenever I'm being a tank. That is amazing. Alright, so our second skill, we have increased troop damage reduction by 15% and counterattack damage by 10%. Awesome. We have more damage reduction, bringing in more tankiness. I will take it. Third skill, increase the attack of infantry units by 15% and defense of infantry units by 15%. I'm not too hyped up on the attack bonus. I'll take it because we do want to do a little bit of damage. But our 15% defense bonus, again, we are stacking up that defense more. We need that defense. If you don't believe me about the technology, just take a look at these commander skills. They wouldn't be throwing in all of this defense if you didn't need stats on your defense. Alright, anyways, increase healing effects received by troops by 30% and reduces watchtower damage taken by troops by 30%. That's why whenever I swarm cities, I use this man as my tank, because why not? Why not get an extra 30% reduction whenever you're hitting that watchtower? And when we got to maxing him out, reduces all damage taken by 5%, increases damage dealt to cavalry units by infantry units by 2%. In addition, every 10 seconds, decrease target march speed by 50% for 5 seconds. That just makes sure that if some crazy fool with some calves tries to hit you, if they stay in battle with you too long, they're not going anywhere. You're going to be hammering them down pretty hard. Yeah, all of his skills just scream, I'm a tank, tank me. Let me go in there and wrecking ball on everybody. So my favorite pairing with him is my boy Charles. Again, Charles gives a lot of tank. This is my favorite pairing. He works well with Ethelflaed. Richard does work well with Ethelflaed. It's not the best. He will work with Osman. He will work with Scipio. He will work with Ouji for straight infantry. He will work with Sun Tzu. He's pretty decent with a Joan of Arc if you're trying to be a buffing march, because they will stay up for an insane amount of time, especially the way that I run my builds. Also Sunset Canyon, they're a very good combo. Alex. Richard and Alex is very good together. I think it's honestly one of the best infantry. Actually, I think it is the best infantry commander pairing in the game. Obviously, I don't have my Alex Max, so that's why I use my boy Charles. I personally like Richard Charles more than I do Alex. Anyways, that's just my preference. I like Richard Charles more than I like Richard Alex or Alex Richard. Yeah, that's just my personal preference. But the order that it would go in for me in pairing would be Richard Charles or Richard Alex, or my third pairing would be Richard Sun Tzu. My fourth pairing, Richard Ouji. Fifth, Richard Scipio. Sixth, Richard Osman. Seventh would probably be Richard Belisarius is alright, but Richard Joan is up there at the top for like a number 3 pairing if you need a buffer on the field. That's whenever you want that Richard Joan for that buffer. If y'all need that buffer for your team, you want that Richard Joan. It's very nice. It'll definitely tank and buff the heck out of everyone. Oh, that brings me to the fourth drawback, actually. In higher tier wars, people don't focus your Richard. Now, that can actually be very damaging for them. That's not per se a drawback all the time, because you can set that Richard out on somebody and pump him with a Joan of Arc, and then you were just putting down massive buffs everywhere for your alliance, for your team, and they're not trying to take out that Richard. So that is one good thing. If you're not getting focused on the battlefield, you definitely want to throw out a Joan with this Richard. That way you can just buff the heck out of everything while they're not focusing you. If they start focusing you, then switch it back to Richard Charles and pull out the hammer time. But yeah, so that's the pairings that I would use with him. That's my preference. Like I said, I use Richard Charles, and I will show the reports of what I use with them. The talents that I run myself, this is how I build my Richard. Again, like I said, Richard Joan is a very, very good buffing march. So I use them at the moment for Sunset. That's why I have this build up is for Sunset, and I use it for PvE. I am testing this build in PvE. All the reports I'm going to show you is with this talent build. And of course, yes, I was using for the marches hitting the people that are fighting me. And in these reports, I will describe everything that's happened on the reports to my memory, or to the best of my memory. Anyways, so this is my Richard talents that I'm using at the moment. This is what I usually use. This is what I used to use for Richard. I believe a lot of people use this type of build similar to this. It's very good, but I love this one. The heals is insane. This is one I like. This is one I prefer. This is how I use my Richard. Now, let's get into some reports, because I believe that I have covered everything on Richard. We got down who we want to pair him with. We got down what his skills do, what they mean, the disadvantage of them, and obviously the advantage. The man's a tank. I mean, he's a tank. Come at me, bro. Richard is, yeah, he's a tank, dude. Let's go. So let's look at some reported points. Ooh, they're ranked 25 to Lee. I guess, I mean, I can go ahead and do a match on Sunset too as well while we are doing this, since apparently reset happened. So let's go into our favorites though. Let's get past Solomar. Sorry. Let's go to, let's see. Where is some of my Richard action, boys? Here we go. Here's versus Shifty. Of course, I save all kinds of reports, guys. I save reports where I lose. I save reports where I win. It doesn't matter. I just like to save reports. So here we got Shifty's T5. Let's see if it'll show the troops. No? Alright. Well, Shifty's T5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 marches on my Richard Charles. Shifty's T5 and this dude, Dirt McGirt. I don't believe he was T5 at all. But here's the reports, boys. Shoo! We got hammered pretty hard by Shifty. This is one of those drawbacks I was talking about on he's very slow, and make sure you pay attention where he's at. My Richard got caught out here. This is one reason why I say this report, so I can show you this. My Richard got caught out here. This is 1v, or they have 10. This is 1v10. I didn't have any other marches in it. 1v9. 1v9 versus T5 and a T4. And I had no other marches over there. But anyways, it is what it is. Alright. Here's T4 players, small amount of troops. Not impressive, not impressive. Let's get to some good ones. I got some T5 ones in here where I spanked some T5 too. Because obviously, that was another T4 report. Obviously, I use Richard a lot. Richard Charles, I mean, they're maxed out. Why would I not use them? There's another one. It's not that good. I don't even know I had that one saved. Let's delete that one. No! Whoa, y'all just seen me do that. So that was an epic fail. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. And I'm going to actually put that epic fail in here. So that's your boy Skywalker OG saying peace out. Sad day. Very upset. Very, very, very flipping upset. I just did that. Crying. Very, very upset. Anyways, guys, it's your boy Skywalker OG saying peace out. Have a nice day. See you on the next one.